Papa Phil, what is going on, man?
I thought we were going to do the glass break. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, we got to get a pane of glass in here so we can shatter it for like the intro. Like, I don't want no like music glass breaking. I want somebody
the
standing
real
over here
thing
with like a window and a bat.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference.
Maybe we could use my window right here. There's a window.
Sounds good.
We could shatter it every intro. We got to get it redone and then reshatter it every time we start the show for a good intro sound.
Yep, sounds like it'll fit right in the budget.
Well, a very large OTG podcast budget that we have. It is absolutely astronomical, man. It is good to be back in our studio, man. I got old Glory.
Yeah, we're a little behind, I think.
I got old Glory over here. You
Whoa.
you got OTG right behind you, dude. I'm telling you, man. I'm looking at you in the camera right now.
How's it look?
Your head covers the and only the greatest. I mean, you're squared up.
So you see
dude.
only and greatest?
You see only and test. Only test. Well, because your head's so big. Never mind. The font's just really small is what it is. Your head's normal size.
Got it.
Man, it's good to be back in here. We're a little bit behind. Let's say we're a little bit behind. We just don't have... normally, we kind of get ahead so that Lucas can edit them, right? And then get them out, and we have more to keep it going. We're not like editing the most current show that we have and then putting it out that week in case there's a problem like there was this past week. But we'll be all right, man. We'll get through it. I think this was the only day, you said it a minute ago, where we haven't had like a technical difficulty getting started.
Just change the battery on the camera and it was ready to go.
Yeah, camera batteries. We always got something. Either we forgot the memory card or there's a camera battery issue. Or one time we had the Rodecaster cord somehow got jacked up. And luckily we had a spare cord. And it took us a while to figure out exactly what was wrong. But it was a microphone cord. But anyway, here we are, man. And... you know, we had a let's just be candid here. We had a very what would you call it? Uncharacteristic issue today. Normally Phil and I, we sit down and boom, either something's on one of our minds. We know, hey, let's talk about this thing, or hey, this happened and I really want to talk about it, or we were working out last week and we had an idea like, oh, that's a good topic, something that we want to share. And today we struggled a little bit, and I think it's because we had a lot of different ideas, and it was the main struggle was how do we elaborate on that without covering like some similar material that we had before. And so the direction we decided to go today was we're going to talk about what I like to call training your brain, and what Phil would say, be careful what you think or control your thoughts, because I personally believe, and Phil does too, that like Kai Green says, your thoughts will become things. And if you sit there and you constantly think something negative about yourself or about your life or about, X, Y, Z thing, then that negativity, it will engulf you. It'll encapsulate you, and it'll probably end up becoming true if you believe that if you, like I said, if you think negatively or you think something's not good or a lost cause, even if it wasn't, it probably will become that. Because
it's only a matter of time. Yeah. Because that happens to me all the time. I feel like one thing that you can't do also that maybe a lot of people do, myself included, is try to always never think, or I shouldn't say always, never think negative, because that's impossible.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, it happens. And so for me, you think negative, and then you just assess the situation and be like, is that actually true? And sometimes it takes a while. It might be like an hour or two, or you got to talk to somebody, or when you know what happens to me, this sounds really dumb. It's almost embarrassing, honestly. But I'll be thinking something, and then I'll express it to someone, and I'll be like, do you hear what I just said?
Usually that's me. You'll say it to me, and I'm like, Phil, that's just not true.
Yeah, it'll be you or Nicole a lot of times.
Somebody close to you.
Yeah, I'll be at home, and I'll say something, and she'll be like,
that's not true.
That's not, no.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
You're right. That's not true.
It's not true at all.
So I think that, so I heard this, I can't remember who exactly it was. I want to say it was on a Ed Milet podcast, but he calls them ANTS, ANTS, automatic negative thoughts.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And I don't know if it's like an evolutionary thing for the human brain to find. I'd have to do some more research on this to find the threat, right, in any situation, because I guess from a very primal or evolutionary standpoint, your brain's always looking for something that's threatening you or something that's negative. It wants to find that so that you can basically you can survive or move past whatever the issue is, right? I don't know if that's the case, but I feel like that a lot of people, most people that I know, including myself, have that thought process where like something can be good or mostly good, and you will find the negative.
I think it's easier and it stands out more. You feel it more.
It's more natural.
Yeah,
it's more.
You feel pain faster, and I don't know what the word is, but it stands out more than the pleasure.
Right.
The pain does.
Oh yeah.
So same thing if, for example, we'll post something, a video or something like that, and there's 10 positive comments and then one negative one. And which one do you remember?
It could be 100 to 1, Phil.
Yep. And you're
going to remember that one a-hole that was wrong.
Yeah.
and posted a negative posted a negative comment or feedback or review or whatever it is, right? And you will, like I said, your brain is going to seek those things out. And I believe that I work on this every day of my life, and I've gotten better over the past probably couple of years. I try to, when that happens to me, here's a little technique that it doesn't always work, but I try. I try to, my brain I see something, or I'm in a certain situation and I think something negative, or I think like, oh, this is crap and it's never going to work, and I'm wasting my time or whatever. And I try to stop, and this is internal. This is an internal dialogue, and go, that's wrong. That's not true. This is mostly good, and there was this one irritating thing that happened. So now I'm frustrated with it, and it's all bad. And I try to think to myself like, hey, control this. It's not all bad. And there are situations that are all bad that you need to scrap and get rid of, right? Get out of your life. But one of my favorite quotes that I've heard, and I think this was on that same podcast I referenced earlier, Dr. Amen or Ed Milet. I tell myself this: when I have that negative thought that I just spent 18 hours describing, I think to myself, don't believe everything you think, because your brain's going to find the negative.
Yeah, it happens automatically. Like, it's automatic negative thoughts, right?
Automatic negative thoughts.
So it happens whether you want it to or not, and you don't have to.
You
know that when other people say something dumb, you're like, that's not right. But so you can do it to yourself too.
And something so simple that it may seem trivial and it may seem like crap, but I do this. I have one of those negative thoughts, and I call it out. That's a negative thought. Don't believe everything you think. And you know what I ask myself? It's what you just said earlier, like when you say something out loud at home, and Nicole's like, it's not true. And you're like, you're right, that's not true. I have one of those negative thoughts. I'll ask myself, is that true? And usually I'm like, no, it's really not true. Like I get frustrated with I don't know, something at work, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is crap, and you know, this job sucks, and this is just an example, and it's all bad, right? It's all, you know, I need to get out of here, and I'll stop and go, don't believe everything you think. And I go, is that true? No, my job is mostly great. I most of the time enjoy it, and there are frustrating things that happen, and my brain takes it to the extreme. Oh, this is the worst job ever, because I got frustrated about one little thing that was probably an easy fix, you know, or like a miscommunication or something, and I go off on a tangent in my head. This is crap.
All the time you deal with, you know, things that are small, but you make them big. Whether it's because you want them to seem big to other people, or maybe you even want it to seem big to yourself, because
a lot of mine's internal. Sometimes I do a lot of times I do voice it, and Jessica or you or whoever, one of my coworkers, will shoot me down and be like, that's not true.
Right.
But a lot of time it's internal, and I try not to let it get out, but it does sometimes. So I'm talking about the times where I catch it on the inside and I'm like, oh, and I'm texting Jess, I'm quitting this job, and I'm not actually, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's where I'm going there right in my head. And I'm like, that's not true. I like my job. I would say 90% of the time I thoroughly enjoy it. I like my coworkers and what I do. And I get frustrated about one thing, and now I need to scrap it all, start over in life, and move out of the state, and like, you know what I mean? Like your brain just starts to do all these crazy things.
It's crazy how you overcomplicate things and blow them out of proportion when it's definitely not necessary. And I know I do it all the time, and that's one thing that I really enjoy about us doing this, because I feel like us as friends, we talk about these things all the time,
every day.
But here, when we're doing it on the podcast, it's like with intent. Yeah. And so now I can really call bullshit on myself for some of the things that I say. Because as we're sitting here, I'm really thinking, I don't know, it's because there's like a couple people that might be listening to this, or like I want it to sound professional or whatever, but I really put a lot of thought. I'm putting a lot of thought into it, analyzing what you say. Yep. So I'm thinking about it more than 2 hours ago when we were
at the gym
and just chit-chatting. Yeah. Now I'm really analyzing all these things that you say and the things that I say.
And the things that you think.
And and I'm like, dude, what an idiot. Like, what am I thinking?
Here's something I want to talk about, Phil. And I would say this is a pivot, but it's really not. We were just talking about my job and my frustration and having these negative thoughts. Let's talk about, I can remember a conversation that you and I have had probably within the past month regarding OTG. Mm-hmm. Which is an actual place that you can go to and get training from people like Phil.
Man, I told myself when we were on our way here that we were going to revamp during the intro after whatever. Every introduction to the show has been different. But I wanted to have like a little spot in there where we actually talked about like maybe for 30 to 60 seconds, only the greatest, and, actually have a real type of introduction. But
now we're gonna do a real type of exit. Time. We're gonna exit with it.
Oh, okay.
So that's the last thing they're thinking about.
Got it.
Real place you can go to for training. Mm-hmm. Only the greatest. It's in Webster, Texas. So you and I have had this conversation within probably the past month, and I can't remember. We have all kinds of deep conversations, but you were essentially. I'm gonna sum it up. You were frustrated in a way with OTG. And not necessarily, I don't think it was necessarily with OTG. I think it might have been a more of a financial conversation that you and I were having. And it was something along the lines of you should be further along and there should be more to what you're doing. And you should basically, it should be bigger, mm-hmm. and you should be further ahead than you already are. And you just turned 30. A couple of months ago, and I looked over at you and I'm like, Phil, that's not true. Look, no, I'm sorry. And here's another topic that I think we've covered before. So you did say all those things, and then you compared yourself. Everybody around me, is much further ahead, and there's people that are our age that are doing so much more, and the comparison was killing your mentality, first of all. But essentially, I looked over at you and I was like, Phil, look around you, dude. That's not true. Your business is doing well. You've it's a great business model. You offer a top tier product, right? When you think about the market that you're in, that's why your business continues to grow. You're growing. Have you declined since you opened the gym? Like as far as business model or financial production or anything like that?
No, it's only increased.
You've increased. And I'm not saying that you're over here rolling around in $100 bills stuffed inside of your pillowcase, or your mattress, but like your business has grown every month, at least a little bit,
pretty much
since you've opened it, at least
in some way or another.
If you averaged it out and you put it on an average line, mm-hmm. it would go up, mm-hmm. right? Consistently up. And I'm like, Phil, think about that. Think about what I just said. If your business wasn't doing that great and everybody around you was doing so much better and you didn't have a great model and you needed to change some things up and you weren't offering a great product and attracting more clients, then you wouldn't be in the position that you're in. You would be man, I've had some really rough months and I don't know if I'm going to make the bills. And man, this, I don't know if I can sustain. You'd be looking about pivoting and changing something with your gym. And really, you're just doing the same thing that you've been doing in a bigger scale. You're about to expand the gym this year. You're going to make it larger so you can take on more clientele. And back to why this started. You voiced that frustration to me, and I sat there and I listened to you for a minute and how stupid that it sounded. And I let you go and go and go, and then I was like, that's not true. You've grown every single month. You're offering a top-tier product. The gym is growing. The gym is expanding. You're potentially going to hire a manager, stuff like that. Dude, this thing is doing well for a grassroots business that was started by, some kid from Texas City that was making $50,000 a year, and saving your nickels, living in my spare bedroom. Wow, I think we were kind of both living in spare bedrooms at my house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So think about that. Back to the root of the conversation. You were frustrated about something that happened, and your brain was going on a tangent about how bad the situation was, and the situation was not bad. You picked out the bad thing or the frustrating thing, and you elaborated on that. And you didn't turn around and go, but the business is growing every single month, and I'm going to expand it, and it's doing pretty well, and we got more trainers coming in. You didn't go talk about all that. You talked about that one thing that frustrated you. And so you got to be careful. You got to be careful how you got to direct your own thoughts. You got to be make a conscious effort to train your brain and direct your thoughts.
Yeah, it's just so easy to focus on the things that are not going well. And something I've been thinking about for the past few minutes, when we were talking about the comments or feedback.
You elaborate on?
No, all positive right now.
Yeah,
all positivity. Okay. But a few minutes ago when we were talking about the feedback and how the negative things stand out to you, if you go read the reviews about OTG Fitness online, there's one negative review out of across the multiple platforms, 200 plus. And I can tell you word for word exactly what that negative review says. I can't tell you what the good ones say. I know about what they say, but I know word for word what the bad one says.
That is a prime example of what you and I are discussing right now. You could read. You probably know you probably remember the person.
I know exactly who it was, why they did it, word for word what it says, everything.
You know what? This is a little bit off topic for this conversation, but the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats.
Ooh,
remember that, buddy?
Dang,
you remember that? Did that individual ever? Did that individual sign up at OTG and train with you?
No.
Mm-mm. Did that individual actually sit down and discuss the product and what you were offering and have a real elaborate conversation to help him understand you or him or her? I don't know. Don't tell me. Him or that individual understand you and you understand them? No. That person doesn't really know what OTG is all about. That person probably I'm guessing, that person probably came in for a trial or a free workout and didn't like one thing, gets on Google and leaves you a trash review based off 45 minutes that person spent in the gym not getting to know you or your business or what you were about, not looking around themselves and going, look at all these happy clients that are getting healthy and training. I go into OTG. You and I work out a lot together when it's slow, when there's not a lot of people there. However, I've been in there several times when there are multiple people training. Everybody's happy. They're exhausted because they're getting their butts whooped in the gym, right? But that's what they're there for.
Right.
I have never seen anybody look like they're not happy to be there or that somebody whose demeanor implied that they weren't satisfied with the product they were getting. Never.
Right.
And this individual that left a negative review hasn't seen any of that.
No.
Loudest boos come from the cheapest seats.
That's a really good saying that I'm going to remember, and something that we always keep in mind, like in all businesses, but especially in customer service based businesses, the most difficult clients, which we've fired clients before.
Really?
Yeah. If somebody comes in and they do express a demeanor that we don't care for, or they're saying things that that doesn't agree with our culture, we'll ask them to leave and give them a full refund. I've done it 3 different times.
Well, you know what?
And yeah, it's just so important. But yeah, I forgot what I was getting at with that. But
well, I think that's something that, you know, let me elaborate on that real quick. So what you're saying is that not that necessarily these people weren't satisfied with what they were getting. They just brought an attitude or demeanor with them that would diminish what was going on
for the other people,
for the other clientele around them,
and our staff,
and your staff.
Yep.
And it's not like, so look, OTG, if the staff, you or the staff fell short, we'd be having a different conversation about these individuals. But you were offering the same product to the same, not to the same people. You were offering the same product to these people as you did to these people. But these clients came in and essentially, what's the word I'm looking for?
And let me say too, I'm not saying that we've never had someone that wasn't perfectly happy with the product. Mm-hmm. We've had situations where they're like, hey, this is not going exactly what I want it to, and we have to fix the problem. Right. I'm not saying that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's what I was getting at. Those individuals that came in and said, hey, I guess we miscommunicated, and I thought that this is the type of product I would be receiving, and it's not. And you go, oh, well, hey, let's have that discussion. You're getting them everything that they paid for and that they thought they were getting, but they want to be a negative Nancy and bring this, demeanor and this aura into the gym.
Right.
That is basically just a Debbie, like I said, a Debbie Downer.
Oh, what I was getting at, all of those people were always the ones that want to nickel and dime you for everything. So something that is prevalent in customer service, the people that pay the least complain the most.
Yep.
People that pay the most are your best clients.
Loudest booze, cheapest seats.
And like I hate
people
saying
that are buying the $high dugout seats.
Yep.
Or the 50-yard line seats. Mm-hmm. Those people are there to work.
Yep.
People are there to cheer at the game.
And not putting anybody down that like can't afford the best products and stuff.
This isn't about that's not a conversation about financial means or a class of individuals that maybe makes less money or whatever you want to call it, but it's people that come in and you know what they seem dissatisfied already when they're there.
Yeah, before
you haven't even talked about anything, and they're already going, well, I don't know what this is going to cost, but it's too much. Before they even know, they even do the research. And OTG they're going to let you come in, they're going to let you work out, right? They're going to let you get to know the trainers and the facility and everything before you get. I mean, it's not like you got to walk in and pay me your entire paycheck before you can figure out what we're about.
No, not at all.
So what I'm trying to get at is you have the opportunity to come in and basically do research.
Yeah, and say no.
And if you went through your workout and you spent, a little bit of time there and you got to know the staff and the culture and the other individuals working out around you, and you just really didn't like it, which almost never happens, then you can say no thank you and you can walk out and you don't pay anything. But to walk in already dissatisfied, already assuming that whatever they're going to attempt to charge you is too much, you're going to be a loud boo coming from a cheap seat.
Right. And I don't want to get off track of our topic here, but
automatic negative thoughts.
Something that's really funny on that, because we're speaking about people or individuals that automatically have negative thoughts all the time, and you can't do anything about them. The same person that left that bad review, if you go look on their profile in Google, they've left several bad reviews for several businesses. This person left a 1-star review complaining about their own high school.
Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. That is a negative person that has negative thoughts about everything and apparently has plenty of time to go online and leave you a negative review no matter who you are. I probably got a negative review on me as a
podcast host.
No, not that. Probably as like an individual he walked past an HEB. Whoever that guy is at HEB that I walked past, I don't like him because of insert negative thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so all negative thoughts probably have something behind them like that.
consider the source.
Yeah.
Consider if you got on to Google review or whatever this guy's profile, right, that lets you know how many negative reviews that this individual has left, and it was overwhelming and it was 100 to 1, and you were the one bad review, I'd go, well, hold on, maybe this guy leaves 100 good reviews and then one bad one. That tells me that he probably had a negative experience at this establishment. But if this person's got 100 negative reviews and no good ones, or one or two good ones, I'm going to assume there's no way you got that kind of luck, man. Every business you walk in is the worst 1-star business you've ever been to.
Yeah.
You need to pick some new businesses to go into. Probably not the case.
It's not the case.
That is just a negative individual.
Right.
Loudest booze, cheapest seats. That person does not analyze their thoughts, and everything is a negative experience for them. And you know what? Personally, I hate to see that. I don't want to see anybody out there.
Me too, because that person's not fulfilling their life. Like every person here, you have so much life to live and life to give to others and to yourself.
I believe that
you should take advantage of that time to do great things, change the world, do good for yourself, do good for others, and doing good for yourself doing good for yourself is not selfish. Doing good for yourself allows you to be comfortable enough to do good for others.
Right. And you know, what kind of life is it to walk around in a bad mood all the time? I mean, you know, we got limited time here, folks. And I mean, if you walk around and you're in a terrible mood all the time and everything's negative, then I mean, there's no fulfillment in that. Right. I mean, and I'm not telling you that you can't voice your opinion if something is bad or you did have a negative experience, by all means. But I'm here to tell you from experience in my life, if you go looking for the negative or the bad thing, you're going to find it.
Oh, yeah. Even if you don't look for it,
you're probably going to find it anyway.
Yep.
But if that's what you wake up every morning looking for and thinking about, you'll find it. I find it every day, and I don't even want to find it. I try not to find it, and I find it. So, you know, control your thoughts. Make a conscious effort to analyze what you're thinking. Ask yourself, is it true? Whenever you think of something. Well, first I think, don't believe everything you think, and then I automatically go to, is what you just thought or said, is that true? Or are you just frustrated? Is this a constant negative thing that happens all the time, and maybe we need to shift away from this in our life? Or is it mostly a good thing, and you had one frustrating moment, or something didn't go exactly how you imagined it or how you planned, so now it's negative and you need to scrap it all? Ask yourself that whenever you have a negative thought. Simple one step process to controlling your negative thoughts. If you're worried about something, or you're scared of something, or you just have a negative thought or a negative outlook in general, one question, ask yourself, is it true?
Ask other people too. Get a third party involved, because sometimes it's hard. For me, sometimes
it depends on the individual. You know, you need to have some people that you trust that are going to give you an honest feedback too, because hey, I'm here to tell you, personal belief, a good friend is not somebody that tells you what you want to hear. Right. A good friend or a family member, is somebody who loves you, is somebody who tells you what you need to hear. And you're gonna have to take some constructive criticism, or you're not gonna gain much ground in that department. But ask somebody who will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. But start there. Start with yourself. Ask yourself, is it true? And if there's any question, usually I would say 95% of the time when I ask myself that, the answer is no.
And if you have to think about it, it's probably also not true.
That's probably also not true.
Yeah.
Now, if you go, this is terrible, I need to scrap it, and you go, is that true? And you go, well, yeah, I mean, it's just a constant. It's constantly wearing on me, and there's not much good that comes from this. Okay, maybe I'm not saying that those things don't exist. 90% of the time, it's not true.
Right.
And that's all I got to say, man. Ask yourself, is it true? When you have an automatic negative thought, call it out. Is it true? If there's any question, it's probably not true. Usually you're going to immediately say, no, it's not true. If there's any question, it's probably not true. Ask a trusted friend or family member that will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And you'll probably be able to figure it out, man. Thoughts become things, people. If you have a negative outlook every day, you're going to live a negative life. You're not going to gain much ground. I've been there before. Easy, man. Easy with the lights. Making you look nice and pretty, dude. You can't have this light moving. I'm like, dude, I'll look like a gargoyle without this light. I'm all pretty with the light. I'm just kidding.
But these lights are great.
Hold on. Is that true? No, that's not true. Yeah. But no, man. Ask yourself if it's true. And go from there and pursue from there. And you know what? I'm gonna give another example. I did this to one of the guys at work the other day. Probably a couple weeks back. I say the other day, and he was I think he was frustrated like with his wife or something. And he was like, she I don't even remember why he was frustrated. Basically, what he was voicing is his wife's essentially not that great, and she always does this thing that he doesn't like, and she never, I don't remember what it was, picks up after herself or does the dish, I don't know, and it's just so terrible. And I'm like, is that true? You could see his face go like, is it really that bad? Or does most of the time, is it really good, and then you had one little argument and now it's really bad, you need to scrap it and get out of there? And I could see his face change. You know what he said? No, that's not true.
Yeah.
So that's just one example. But, man, hey, Phil, we're going to close this thing out. Ask yourself if it's true. That's the 50th time I've said this. Let's plug OTG real quick. What do you got, man? Your 30 to 90 second pitch.
Put me on the spot, man. Well, OTG is a private personal training gym in Webster where we help people reach their fullest potential, not only in health and fitness, but all aspects of their life. Because my personal journey, fitness helped me do that. We wouldn't be standing here. We wouldn't have a podcast. We wouldn't have a gym. I wouldn't be self-employed, being able to follow my dreams.
Wouldn't be ripped.
I'm already not. Was in the past, trying to get serious about that now. Ooh. But you can only focus on so many things, as the gym's a little more stable now. Maybe I can try to do that. But anyways, yeah, we want to help people achieve greatness. We want to take over and be the prominent person, business name in the personal training industry, especially here in Houston. And people know that they can be great no matter where they are now. It doesn't matter where you come from, where you're at now, where you're at in your life, your job, your work, your career. I use that example because fitness helped me move along in that aspect of my life. It's so much more than looking in the mirror. It's about how you feel about yourself, the people around you.
Think about yourself.
Yep, and how you think. So just know that no matter where you are, you can be great also. And we want to help you.
Yeah,
we want to help you do that.
Being in great shape is never a bad thing. It's never going to taking control of your health and fitness is never going to cause a negative chain reaction of things in your life.
Never.
Whereas the opposite is also true. Not being in control of your health and fitness is pretty much never going to lead to improvement.
No way.
Improvement on all levels, right?
Right. No.
So
we want you to look better, because when you look better, you feel better about yourself. But when you feel better, you do everything in your life better.
You think better. And when you think better, the door is wide open. So ask yourself, people, when you have an aunt, is it true? Don't believe everything you think. We're out.